load the car up on the outside curves.
Yeah, it's two of the easiest corners on the calendar to make get sucked into making a mistake and running wide through.
Different technique for the two, so you have to go on the exit, so you don't need to get on the throttle. You tend to roll the speed in more 100 meters there.
Those onboard shots we get, always a great spectacle, and that will be Rowley. This looks like a good lap, but got to make you get to that point of the circuit.
We're seeing where 4.3 kilometres has not been enough for the final phases of qualifying. Purple third of that rode him because he's solidly clear behind the wheel of that machine and is
beat Kimi Antonelli here in 20 through the final corner, clips that curve to the top of the times for Alex Dunn.
Miney moves up into the back. Dunn looked to have a decent amount of front end, a general of front limited circuit here for most of the race. This final flurry of push laps in the ART.
He'll want to just get his real strong point so far this season in P4 in this practice session's first sector, and he is coming up the Italian now, the Formula 3 champion, into turn.
Off the pace at this stage, 6th in the championship at the multiple first year behind the wheel. Chasing though, that elusive.
Not a pace that's been kind to him though. Red could really do with trying to Leo Fornaroli. How is that meant?
All that completely. And you know, to convince yourself that in this kind of car it's going to be Marti bouncing wide over the apex there.
So Pepe Marti, the pit lane for the Irishman. 1:16.
Miney at this phase, the only other driver of the field circulating in sort of the late moment again for Marti. Gets a bit of a swapper of over time at that speed to be able to point there because the circuit then comes back to you.
Who almost pulled off a great strategy in time before it had come for podium positions. Pepe Marti.
So they're looking underneath for any element caught in radiator ducts can then start to. They know at this stage it's put themselves in the situation where they're damaging to with the majority of the session done.
He's got a great chance going then, the Danzig Sword driver.
See how much management keep on pushing through that Oversford through the final two corners. Aston Martin, and then is forced to commit to the outside one and has managed to rejoin. But
at turn 3, we saw an
oak show of a lockup, isn't it? When you look at those down to the big braking zone,
it will be part.
Oh, it's paint rather than a down towards turn 3. Yes, I suspect it's in. So big inside lockup, which turns in.
And Montoya are actually at turn 9. This is Crawford.
Commits, bounces over the inside curb, which of course corner. It's so easy to go. Very little visibility of that inside curb, and they've taken that inside curb as they'll feel it through the steering wheel.
Yeah, it's. I think that's a sign of one mistake there, or if he is just travelling slowly. Waving, and that will stay relatively as it is, and drivers up
to try and nail the practice start. Start important here. I'm amazed that they're not suffering with. Luke Browning finds a better pit lane, and I really thought they would be with that. The fact that it's a very similar chassis here as the tyre goes away.
Session, do you think?
Yeah, they'll have a look at it. They're going to have as the race progresses on, but I suspect they don't want to run too much rear down to give the drivers the balance that they have.
Those practice starts, good stuff. The Red Bull Junior coming off the back of, and he's showing good form. One for the Red Bull Junior this weekend. Fastest though, at McLaren in FP1, and that's going
to be a busy old day, isn't it, for Dunn? And that's what he's stopped at the front of the grid, who's now got away. The set track gets away nicely there. That'll give him confidence. A lot of confidence, demonstrated something into the user manual of the then switch the brain off from that and turn it back on.
Janovic likewise, who will be in the Alex Dunn ahead of the Ellie Mini. Great performance from championship regulars. Kushmaini 7th, rich results from Iata and Cordell. Luke Brown, Dami Megatuniv 13th, Red Bull Junior, Ollie Roman Stanek, Max Esterson, John Bennett, Rafael Villagomez 21st. There is Luke, that's Victor Darts. Alex, and
how aggressive they can go with the Becht. Finds himself on the grid.
Climb it is, and that's what they'll take for the first time on Class 3 local time. We'll see you then.